Alright guys, we are back with another video in the series where you guys send me your scuffed Crusader Kings 3 save files, I play through them, fix them up, and even send them back to you so you can mess them up all over again. Today's disaster submission comes from an Italian Zeely fan, Gianluca, who writes, I formed the Kingdom of Israel and try to play as tall as possible, following the suggestions present in your videos. Everything was going great, that's good to hear. But suddenly, the big Arabian Empire launched a jihad for my entire kingdom. I don't know if it's possible for you to save the kingdom from this, but I have faith in your capabilities. Famous last words, Gianluca. Luckily for us, you have sent me 2 save files, one which you affectionately named Super Jihad, which is in the middle of the Holy War, so we can see just how bad this situation really is, and then another save 1 year before it started so we can try and prevent this whole disaster from happening. So we dropped in here mid-war just to show you guys how deadly this holy war was.
Oh, jeezy pips, man.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
So there is literally no chance any human, I don't care how good you are at CK3, could save a game from this situation. The second you lose this holy war, we might just be left with this one county up here. So the only way that we could possibly save Gianluca's game is to go back in time to the save file he sent us a year before this date and see if we can stop this jihad from ever happening in the first place. Okay everybody, so we've hopped back I think a year ago from when we were in full jihad mode, and hopefully what we will be able to do is prevent that jihad from ever happening and then eventually take down this Arabian Empire so that our beautiful Jewish Kingdom of Israel can thrive. Our buddy Gianluca has done a great job, honestly, of playing tall. I was looking around at his territories and you can see he has his castles maxed out for what his culture can allow. He has tier 2 castles with pretty much upgraded buildings all over. He is also promoting culture to these other regions so that he can continue to upgrade the castles. Like you can see, we couldn't upgrade this castle in this southern county to tier 2 because it's of this different culture, which I think is of Bedouin heritage. He has really went all out for economy in this game. Like when I click on every single one of his counties, you can see he's made only gold making buildings. There is not a single military building in sight, and that may be the first bone I have to pick with you, Gianluca. You know, it's always good to go eco, get that gold flowing, which you do have. You have 35 gold per month, which is really high. But you know, maybe sometimes instead of getting like this pastoral lands building, it might have been better to get a barracks building because they give you a lot more levies and they boost the damage of your heavy infantry and your spearmen. Sprinkling in a few of these barracks buildings probably would have helped. Would it have saved you from the, I think 300,000 men that had declared a jihad against you? Probably not, safe to say, but I think it would help just make your military a little bit beefier to maybe where they wouldn't declare that holy war at all. Other than that, if I look at your men-at-arms, you have fully stacked men-at-arms, which is really good. One thing is, I'm not sure how valuable having these bowmen are. I think instead, honestly, it might be better to have picked up more of a different type of unit, like either these armored horsemen, because like you can see they do so much damage, or if you still wanted to have 800 men to make your army look beefier, you could have picked up more armored footmen, or even these light horsemen, which right now you are buffing a ton from your domain. Because you did go eco only, that means you have these housing pen buildings in like all of your counties. These hunting ground buildings have insane boosts for your light cavalry units, as you can see here, as well as defender advantage, which actually probably will help you if we do have to fight off some invasions from these Arab kingdoms. Another problem I have is you really only have 6 domains, which isn't that many. I know to play tall, you want to hold a small amount of counties and really buff those counties. But the problem is you can see you have some empty slots here. So like this place right here, we could go ahead and build a castle right now. And then in 4 years when this finishes, you know, we're going to have another domain. And then like, let's say if we look at this castle, it's currently making us 5 tax, 630 levies. You'd be getting almost the same benefits from just having another castle right over here. However, the only problem is you only have 6 as your domain limit, mainly because your stewardship isn't like that amazing as this character. So instead, what I'm going to do is switch off of mangonels. This is more of like an offensive technology that you want to get if you're going to be like declaring war and trying to seize down castles. Instead of that, I'm going to go for bailiffs, which will be done in 6 years. And then in 6 years, that'll give us 1 extra domain limit and we'll be able to hold this castle. Another thing that I'm going to do is a little bit ruthless, but your wife,
Hi, how are you?
isn't doing anything for you right now. She's 62 years old, so she's probably not going to have any more kids, and that's okay because you have 2 sons and potential heirs already. So instead, I'm going to ask for a divorce from her, spend a little bit of your piety, which you have a ton of, and then I'm going to find a new wife, but I'm going to make sure to sort by infertile so we don't have any more kids, and then sort by stewardship. And you can see we have a few options here. Normally a good idea to pick the youngest one who gets you the most stewardship. So I'm going to go with this lady, send her a proposal.
You've got mail.
And then right away you can see when she accepts that, it already bumps our domains up to 8. So we can hold 2 more pieces of land now. And one way we can quickly get more land is I was looking around to see if any of your vassals would accept us revoking their titles. And this guy down here would. So we can revoke his title.
Yoink.
Boom. And now we are already at 8 of 8 domains. And in 4 years, we'll have another domain. And then in 6 years, we'll be able to hold that domain without any penalties. So just like that, you can see I already raised your military by 2,000. And it gives us more options over here in terms of buildings and things like that. Like we can swap out this mud brick towers, which gives you a boost on defense, which I don't really care about. And instead build a barracks, which will give you a lot more levies. So yeah, I am impressed with your playstyle, Gianluca. You have done a good job of playing tall, but you know, there's always a few things here or there that you can do. However, I think really the main problem with this game is just the fact that you are a Jewish character surrounded by 2 massive Ashari regions. Getting a holy war declared on you is pretty much game over regardless. And because of that, I think the only way we can stop holy war being declared on us is to swear fealty to this big Arab empire. And we're going to go for a religious taxation type of vassalage here, because what this will mean is that we will be religiously protected so they cannot convert us. I think that's kind of like if we were able to convert to Asharism, this challenge would be moot at that point. And I think the whole reason you're playing as Israel as a Jewish character is because you want to keep doing that. So I'm going to try to keep my Jewish religion while also dismantling this huge Arab empire. So we're going to swear fealty to them. You can see that will make it so we have to pay them a good amount of tax and levies. But the levies is fine because if we do try to break away from them, they lose those levies we would give them. And same way, we lose a good amount of tax. But you can see I already increased our tax to almost 50 per month from when it was like 35 when we started. So if I do this, you can see he accepts. We pretty much go back down to where we started the game. And I think that is a-okay. And now that we are actually a member of this guy's empire, we will have an easier time trying to take it down from within. We can already see there's an independence faction from the Armenian principalities who have 7,000 men of their own. So if we join this, we'd almost bump this up to where we'd be able to stand a chance and fight them off, you know, and weaken them and kind of stop them from ever being able to do a jihad against us. I did see that you have a available dynastic legacy, and I'm going to pick up this last one in the warfare tree. It looks like you were really gunning for that, and it's also a really good one. It gives us an extra men-at-arms unit, which is already quite valuable, but it gives us access to this house guard men-at-arms unit, and they are like a more beefy armored footman. You can see armored footmen have a base strength of 32 with 22 toughness, and the house guard have a base strength of 40 with 32 toughness. So quite beefier, as well as costing nothing when they are unraised, and a very low amount, only 0.96 when they are raised, compared to 1.15 for armored footmen. So they're like a more cost-efficient armored footmen. The only thing is you can see if I create them right here, you can only go up to size 5 right now. When your other units, you can see we can go up to size 8. So we are getting 300 less of them, but that's still an extra 500 men compared to where we were right before this. You're also currently going down a learning lifestyle at this point, which is it's good when you're trying to do a tall game, but you can see you picked up pretty much everything at this point. So once you pick that up, you can switch back over somewhere. Like we could go we could go architect in order to pick up divine attention, which would increase our domain limit, and by 2, allowing us to hold more land, which is always valuable. But I think instead what I'm going to do is actually go for a intrigue lifestyle, because if we do this and we pick up this truth is relative perk, we can then fabricate hooks on people who are part of this empire, and if we get strong hooks on them, we can then add them to these factions. So let's say if I create a dissolution faction, which I think is the type of war I'm going to want to try to lead here against our emperor, you can see we could add members, but in order to force them to join, you can see we would need a strong hook on them. I will also be finding secrets in our court because there's a chance we can just pick up strong hooks on powerful vassals like that as well. So other than those two things, finding secrets and fabricating hooks on people, I will also be trying to murder our emperor as much as possible. Not right now because we don't really have a big chance of this going through. But after I pick up some more perks in the intrigue focus, like swift execution, which gives our murder schemes 30% more power, then we could start murdering them. That'll just make them weaker overall. Like let's say if we murder this guy and then we murder his son, the kingdom or the empire would fall to this 8-year-old. That would weaken them significantly and make it even easier for us to try to get a dissolution faction to pass here. One other thing I'm gonna do, which you had not done, is just pick up one of these royal architects. They are very valuable when you're going to be building a lot of buildings, and as I'm almost done promoting culture in this southern county, which will let me upgrade all these buildings and this castle, I think that's going to be worth it for us. As well as I think there are a couple buildings like down here. I'm going to get a nice debuff on the time it makes to build this. You can see 20% decrease from switching this watchtowers to a barracks. This place actually also has a room for a castle holding, so I'm going to build a castle down here also. We won't have room to hold that one, but like I always mention, these secondary baronies, you can always just grant them away to vassals, and then whenever you want, you can revoke it with literally no downside. It's always a good idea to have a couple of these secondary baronies just like chilling on the side that can always be revoked whenever you need. Man, I haven't played in Israel in a while. You forget how many insane wonder buildings there are. So you have the third temple in the capital, which is really cool. Gives you 3 tax per month, as well as a 30% tax bonus in this county, which actually reminds me, the other benefit of making a castle down here is every single one of these baronies in this county that have the third temple are actually going to be getting a bonus from this 30% tax. So really, it's better to have this barony here than probably it is to have like a county over here that, is just like a tier 1 castle with not your culture. Instead, when this castle finishes, you'll be able to see that we're going to get not only a 30% tax bonus in that castle from this temple, but there's also another another holy site wonder in the temple holding of this county, which is giving 20% tax bonus. So that's why we're making 16 gold from the capital, is because all of the gold is getting boosted by 30% from the third temple and then 20% from the grand temple. And then there is another temple in this county here, another grand temple that gives the same thing, 2 tax, 20 tax per month, which just makes this county another great gold making county, although it only has 2 barony slots, so not getting as much value from it. Okay, so in Gaza, we have finished promoting our Jewish culture, so now I can upgrade the castle for this price. Getting a 30% discount is quite nice, I'm not gonna lie, and then a huge discount on the time, as you can see, 70% there, so it's gonna be really good. And then we can go ahead and upgrade all of the buildings in there as well. Over here in this county, I'm actually going to swap this homestead buildings that is tier 2 for barracks as well. It's just like I mentioned before, barracks is a really valuable building for getting more levies, and we do need more levies right now. It'll also boost our heavy infantry, which we do have 2 stacks of right now because these house guard do count as heavy infantry, and we do have 800 pikemen as well. So this is just going to be, it's just going to be good value for us. We can go all the way up to tier 4, which you can see gets us 10% for each one of these barracks we have. I have to say, I do respect, Gianluca, your commitment to boosting your light horsemen's damage and your armored horsemen's damage. You can see we're getting a 30% increase from domain for armored horsemen and a 66% for light horsemen. It's pretty much because you built these hunting towers in every single one of your counties, and tier 4 in all of the counties that have tier 2 castles, as you do have control over 2 duchies, complete control over 2 duchies. You do have the jousting grounds building, which you can see boosts your light cavalry damage even more, as well as 15% for your heavy cavalry damage and toughness. And you actually have, you went for the double jousting grounds, which, you know, I can't say anything else other than I respect it, because you're really going all in for armored horsemen and light horsemen. Because of this, I actually will get rid of these bowmen, men-at-arms units, and instead I'm going to pick up another full stack of light horsemen, just because, you know, they're just getting so many buffs from your buildings. I think it's probably the most worth it thing to get. They also get bonuses from drylands terrain, which is like the main terrain type in this entire region. I just finished upgrading my castle to tier 2 in Gaza. Once we get enough money, we can then start upgrading these buildings to tier 4 now, which is nice. I also still need to upgrade some buildings in this county. I'm almost finished the second castle over here and another castle over here. We picked up the perk for intrigue, so I'm going to pick up truth is relative. And now I'm going to go to our dissolution faction. And if I go to add members, you can see it gets sorted by military strength. So I can go to this character as an example and try to fabricate a hook on them. We do have a 67% chance, so it's a decent odds, and I think currently my spy master is set to find secrets, so I'm going to switch them to support schemes now, because I think I found all the secrets we were able to get in our court, and that bumps it up to 81%. So hopefully this will go through. There is a chance that it'll only be a weak hook, and then it's not that useful, but then we can just go to the next vassal in the line and try to get a strong hook on them. This is too bad. Our scheme was discovered, so I'm gonna have to cancel it. There's not enough percentage chance that it'll go through, but we can always do another one. I also do want to murder our liege at some point, because you can see he does have a decent amount of power from his alliances, so if we were able to kill him, that would definitely help that situation. I also just finished constructing these moats, so I'm gonna go ahead and just grant them to pretty much anybody from my court. Honestly, doesn't matter, because like I said before, whenever we do increase our domain limit by 1 or 2, we can just revoke these without any problems. You can see, because it's a barony, we don't get any tyranny from this. The only thing is the person loses some opinion with us, but you know, that does not matter at all. Ooh, so my liege just launched a war against this Egyptian kingdom, and they're both pretty strong. You can see it's 23k for the Egyptians, 35 for us. So we'll have to see if our liege takes a lot of damages here. Maybe we could start thinking about
now what?
This is a bit annoying though. We're actually getting invaded. I could try and stop these guys, but they do have quite a lot of men. But the question is, will my men-at-arms be strong enough in order to put these guys down? So it says we're gonna win, even though they have more men, but let's see if that actually happens. Oh yeah, look at that. Our armored horsemen are doing 188 damage because we're fighting on dry lands where they get buffs. I think that's pretty much pushing this over the edge, and we will be doing quick work of this army. Boom, look at that, guys. Oh my goodness, it must have been all in the pursuit phase, but we only lost 1,000 men, but we killed 9k men in this battle. And if you look at that, our horsemen, both light horsemen and armored horsemen, were absolutely doing crazy amounts of damage. Actually, like I said, most of the kills, at least for the light horsemen, have come in the pursuit phase. So this is after the battle is won. If our pursuit stat largely outweighs their screen, then we get a lot of kills in the retreat phase of battle. And these are pretty much free kills, because as you can see, you don't lose any men while the other army is routed and they are retreating. So So that proves at least we can take around 17k men on our own. Our liege does have 34, so I think we still will need some help from these fabricate hook schemes if we want to take him down. So I'm about to finish bailiffs here, which is that technology that's going to give us more, one more domain limit. And I guess I'll keep this castle in the capital because, like I said before, we're getting those crazy bonuses from these 2 wonder buildings in terms of the tax in here. So I'll start building some buildings in this area. And when we do unlock bailiffs, which we just did, we can now go ahead and just revoke this title from this character. And now we have another beautiful barony under control where we can build a couple gold making buildings. Probably will be good to stack the benefits of the 50% increase from those wonders. But then I might make a barracks building as well, just because you can see as we get them to tier 4, they are very powerful for getting us more levies. I can also upgrade the secondary castle that's in our capital because we have our culture there, which lets us go to tier 2 castles. And that's going to be pretty big because it'll just let us keep upgrading the buildings while also giving us more men and gold. Oh, no way. It looks like the Pope actually just launched a crusade against all of Egypt. I'm surprised they didn't go for me. Maybe they're a little bit scared by our strength, but to be fair, Egypt is pretty strong as well. Yeah, so I can't even join this crusade because, you know, I'm Jewish. Probably shouldn't be fighting in a Catholic versus Muslim war. But, you know, it's good for me if they beat each other up. I will not be complaining. You can see we have, well, our liege has 111,000 men, while the Pope looks like he has 100,000. So it should be pretty close. But I do know the Pope is a total idiot during Crusade. So I wouldn't be surprised if he just, like, runs all his men in and gets them all killed. Ah, too bad. So this scheme finishes time, but we'd only get a weak hook on him. I guess we'll take it. We could have done another one, but I really want to start murdering our liege. So I'm going to go and try to do that. You can see we actually have a very high % chance of this going through, and we probably have a few people we can invite as well. It's looking good for us being able to kill our emperor here. Okay, so my culture was converted in this southern county that we have. So I'm going to upgrade the castle in here as well. And then I'm going to move my counselor on to promoting our culture in, I guess, this county. All right, so our scheme is ready on the emperor. Let's do it. 95% chance. And we have killed him, leaving his son to be in charge next. Their strength didn't decrease that much, but what it did do was get rid of some good alliances. You can see they only have 1 ally now. I think I probably should be able to murder this guy as well. And you can see there are a few people we can invite, which will get this up very nicely, 95. And then when he dies, he has an 18-year-old son, it looks like, who will be next in charge. And he doesn't have any kids, so it could get tasty once we kill this next emperor. All right, here comes the murder scheme again.
Do it.
We have got him as well, so now it is his son who is in charge, and you can see their strength is only 30,000 now, which is honestly a number I might be able to take on my own even. But you can see he has a younger sibling here as well.
I'm in danger!
Who is only 4 years old, so I think we're going to do another murder scheme on this guy. Pretty good odds it goes through already without having to invite anybody, but I will invite people anyway, just to get this up even higher. And then in 12 months, once he dies, oh, he makes me the steward, which is hilarious. That's going to get me so much more gold. Once he dies, even if I just have to go alone in this dissolution faction. Oh, and look at this, guys. We actually have 2 people who joined our dissolution faction.
Let's go.
That is huge. So I think definitely when we kill this next emperor and there's a 4-year-old in charge, we can launch the dissolution faction, and we'll have the help of these 2 vassals giving us around 8,000 more men, which should honestly make us strong enough in order to take down the big Arabian Empire. Oh, this is too bad. It looks like they discovered our scheme, which really lowers the chances. If I hover over here, you can see that gives you a minus 75% chance. But that being said, there are still a bunch of other people we can invite to this, so I think we can get it right back up to 95 once I make a little bit more money and get some more people onto this scheme. Okay, so here it goes. We got up to 80%.
What? What the fuck?
Looks like it didn't go through actually, but that's okay because we can just run another one. And I'll invite one more person. I probably should have done this to get it up to 95 before I tried to do that, but got a little distracted by upgrading my buildings. Ooh, okay, so this is actually interesting. You can see this guy over here. We got a strong hook on him from a secret. We learned that he murdered somebody, so we can blackmail him. Oh, our murder scheme also is ready to go, so let's launch that. 93% chance.
Stop it.
How does it... what?
Get some help.
Somehow we still fail it, so we'll have to wait another 12 months. But I did get my strong hook on that person, which means, as you can see, we can now add him to the dissolution faction. Somebody else had left this faction, or those two guys had left this faction. I think this guy was in it, but he somehow got locked up.
Help me.
I wish there was a way I could get him out of jail, but like he has enough money to ransom himself, so I think our liege doesn't really want to ransom him. Once this finally goes through in another 10 months, then we should be able to launch our dissolution faction with this other guy that we forced to be in here with us. Okay, this time 95% chance. It better go through. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. So now we have a 7-year-old in charge of the entire empire, and you can see they only have 24,000 men. Well, we have 12,000 on our own, but our men are super strong. If you look at the damage of our light horsemen, we're getting a plus 74% from our domain. Our heavy infantry is getting boosted 22% from our domain. So we should just run through a lot of our enemies. So I'm kind of thinking, do I want to keep upgrading my buildings, or do I just want to launch this war right now? And you know what? I'm kind of leaning just to launch it. Like, they're also in a crusade at the same time, and you can see the Pope is doing something. If you look at the total numbers here, he does have a lot less men, but at least he's being a distraction. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. But let's go to our faction. We're going to press our demands. You can see we have 81% power, which I'm pretty sure if you're at 100%, that just means you have the exact same military as them. But this guy we have involved in it has 7.3 thousand men, and we have 12,000. So let's press the demands.
Denied.
He's not going to accept. We're going to go to war. You can see our troop number increase actually, because like I mentioned at the beginning of the game, we get all the levies back that we were promising to our liege. And not only did our number increase, but his number went down from losing those levies that we were giving him. So he only has 20,000 now, which honestly, I think we probably would be able to take on our own.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
Oh, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna come off a boat into our territory? That would be the dumbest thing he could possibly do, because he's gonna get recently disembarked if he does this. We should 100% get a stack wipe. Oh, he's an absolute clown. Look at this. So he's losing 30 in the advantage modifier. We're getting an 86% increase in our damage, and all of our units are being buffed like crazy in this battle. Oh, and he's gonna do it again too. What a silly guy. So that's a complete stack wipe there. Boom, another absolute dominant stack wipe, and he's gonna come off again into another boat here. Oh, this guy is actually so silly. We're already at 82% and brought him down to 15,000 men just after 3 very simple battles. And his units are all starving because they've just been fighting in the crusade in Egypt. This has worked out perfectly for us. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get another stack wipe down here. Boom, there you go. And then we can chase this guy away too. And actually, I think if we win this battle, we'll probably go to 100%. And there you go, guys. As easy as you like. Like 3 battles later, we have won the war outright. Let's enforce our demands and watch this absolutely huge empire fall apart. Look at that, guys. Even Egypt is super weak now. I didn't realize this because they've been fighting in this crusade the whole time. They only have 8,000 men. But I think we are now in a perfect position. So we have destroyed this massive empire. But I'm wondering if the head of the Ashari faith were to declare a jihad against us, you might be in the same position you were when you sent me this disaster save. So I'm just thinking, if I were going to continue this game, I'd probably start, you know, just steamrolling all of these areas around you, starting with Egypt, you know, knock them down with a holy war for kingdom, take this whole piece of land. Like, they're in debt, they don't have many men or allies, so it would be a very easy war. And then I would just start invading all these smaller regions, you know, taking away the land and giving it to some Jewish characters of my same faith and religion, so that the next time there is a jihad, regions would be under your control, so they wouldn't be able to send any men to fight you, pretty much stopping that threat completely. This is where I'm going to end the video, guys. We have made Israel pretty much the strongest nation, maybe in the entire game, I'm not going to lie. We do have 13,000 men, which is pretty decent, but our men are super tanky. Look at these bonuses we're getting to all of our men at arms. Our knights are all really strong as well. I think the kingdom of Israel is ready to prosper. Alright guys, so I hope you really enjoyed this game. Remember, if you have any disaster saves, you can send them my way to zieleysubmissions@gmail.com. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.